Welcome back, everybody, to Rantpocalypse Talks Movies. I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Kelly, and we are related. I'm that boy's mom.
You are my
That
mom.
that that grown ass man's mom.
And we're here to review movies. And in this video, we're going to take a look at a new zombie film that is all the rage, apparently, with critics on the interwebs. And that movie is The Girl with All the Gifts. We just got done watching it. We wanted to sit down and chat about it, review it, and tell you whether or not you should watch it. But just in case you have not heard of this film and you don't want to be ruined by a review, here is the synopsis for this film. In the future, a strange fungus has changed nearly everyone into a thoughtless, flesh-eating monster. When a scientist and a teacher find a girl who seems to be immune to the fungus, they all begin a journey to save humanity.
Save the world. You should definitely watch it.
Okay,
I thought it was really good.
I completely agree. Definitely watch this movie. Spoiler-free thoughts, done. Let's get right into it. You
Okay.
like the movie.
hmm
What did you think about this overall? Is it the best zombie film you've ever seen? You did compare it to The Last of Us, which is one of
Yeah.
your favorite zombie games of all time.
Right.
So, how does this movie rank for you compared to all the other zombie films?
Um, I thought it was really different than all the other zombie films. I mean, it was very different to me. A lot of them are cheesy and campy, and this one was not at all, in my
No.
opinion. So it was kind of a thinker. There was a couple parts in it that I was kind of like, ooh, that part's a little weird for me. But
What was that?
overall,
Tell me one of those parts. Do you know one
okay,
off the top of your head?
yes, um, the fight scene
Okay.
took me out of the movie.
That
Did
was
it?
a little bit odd. Yes,
hmm
no, I completely agree with you because so in the film, the little girl, her name is Melanie, and she is the girl that seems to be immune to this virus, this fungus that is going around that is turning everybody else into the Hungries, which I
Yes,
absolutely loved. I thought that
me too.
was an amazing new zombie terminology. So she's the second generation.
hmm
And the second generation, apparently, they have characteristics of humans. They think, they feel, well, they don't technically feel, but they definitely think, and they have some types of human emotions and
Well,
characteristics.
they started off as human.
They did start off as human because they were in, they were babies that were born, and in the embryonic state, when the mother got the fungus, it transmitted to the baby,
Yeah,
and the baby ate them
ate the,
just out of the embryo, which is
ate their
disgusting.
way out. I
Yes.
mean, that is just, and which is so funny because I did think about The Walking Dead with that part and how
Oh
we
man.
talked about that a lot when Lori was pregnant, and we were like, "Oh, that baby's gonna eat its way
Judas like
out." Yeah, let
yeah.
me out, let me out. So yeah, and it happened.
It,
And
it, it does happen, and
Mhm.
it was which was very interesting. I thought that was a very cool way that we haven't seen zombies explained before, which I thought was very cool. And if we have seen it, I guess on Z Nation, I guess it happened in a really campy and stupid way where they had the zombie babies and everything.
yeah,
But this was in a very cool, more I would say sciency way.
yeah, yeah,
I think
sciency.
yeah, sciency.
That's that's what all the super intelligent people say. Is it's so sciency.
Yeah, they science the shit out of this movie. But the part that you're talking about involved a group of second generation Hungries, and Melanie has to fight them off to save Sergeant Parks and her bestie Helen. These Hungries look like they were straight out of Peter Pan and the Lost Boys.
Yes, yes,
So that right there really did take you out of the film.
right.
Just the
Because
way they're painted and
why did
everything.
those kids paint themselves up? What was the point of that? And her growling would not scare me at all. Grrr.
You're totally right. That part was really wonky. And I would be
Mhm.
curious because this is based off of a book, and maybe in the book it feels a little bit different. It feels a little bit more intense, a little scarier. Because in the movie it did come off as super cheese and
Yeah,
definitely took you out of the film because I don't feel like it was meant to be humorous, but even Sergeant Parks kind of giggled in it. He didn't necessarily laugh out loud or anything, but whenever Melanie comes over and she's like, "Act like you're scared of me," and
right.
he's like, "Act? I don't need to act right now. You just went full Negan on
Yes.
the leader of the Lost Boys over there, which I did. I thought that was pretty cool. But you're completely 100% right on that. It took me way out of the film whenever
Hmm.
they had that fight because it was such a badass moment right before that. Whenever these Lost Boy hungries freaking used a human trap
Yeah.
to kill and eat Kieran, which
Yeah.
was totally sad, and porn totally got his ass.
Okay. I meant to write that down. It's the downfall of humanity. Your wiener, guys, is
Yes,
gonna
our
ruin
wiener,
you.
our wiener leads to lots and lots of deaths. Think about it, and all the Friday the 13th movies, the
Yep.
Jason films. Well, I guess those are the Jason films. Nightmare on
Yes.
Elm Street would be the other
Hmm.
ones. Basically every scary movie
Yep.
from the beginning of time, as well as in the Bible. Our
Yep.
wieners ruin everything, guys. And Kieran, he such a nice dude. I loved his character so much. I loved the interactions that he had with Melanie, and it was not fitting that he would
He
be eaten by the freaking second generation kids that he was
he
so nice
sees the
to.
magazine and he's like, "Oh,"
He's
and I
like,
love,
oh shit, porn.
and at least thank God they didn't find him with his pants down. That
Yeah.
part, I was like, "Oh my God!" But I loved at the beginning of the movie. They say our mission statement is to keep ourselves off the fucking menu.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't listen to the mission statement because
No.
he was the menu.
I hated seeing him go like that, but I did think it was a. I thought it was a very terrifying scene the way that they used the human trap with all the cans of food, but then I was completely taken out of it with the
Yeah.
next scene with that fight. But I will say I think that was the only negative for me in this film overall. The ending was a little bit. I wouldn't. I'm not going to say it was bad. I don't think the ending was bad at all. It just wasn't what I was expecting. But again, that's also why I think this was
Right.
so good and so interesting, is because it wasn't what you expected from the typical zombie film. It was
It was.
set in a post-apocalyptic world,
Yeah.
but it was more about us losing that
Yes.
world.
Yeah, and she didn't do what we thought she was going to do because
No.
up until that point she is the zombie that you want to run across, the one
Yeah.
that's going to take care of you and is good, that doesn't want to eat you. Just, hide your cats. That's the only thing you need to worry about.
Yeah.
Although, okay, for me, I totally understand why she did, because they tortured her by
Hmm.
putting her down in a chair and strapping her in, and they made her wear Crocs. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you making me wear Croc shoes. And that's why she was so excited whenever she got the Velcro shoes. She's
Yeah,
like, I
exactly.
thank God I got rid of those freaking Croc shoes. Anybody that gets put in Croc shoes, especially as a
Yeah,
kid, those are not the
it's just
coolest
wrong.
shoes. I mean, if we
Mm-mm.
want to wear them as grown-ass adults,
Right.
that's one thing. We went out and paid for them. We decided that we wanted to be uncool. But the poor kid that is made to wear the Crocs, that totally sucks for them. So what did you think about the opening of this film? Did you have an expectation of what you were going to get out of this?
I really didn't. And I thought it was a really nice surprise because you're sitting there and they've got this classroom and all these kids are strapped down. I have no idea why these adorable children are strapped into wheelchairs. I didn't know what was going on. And then when they start, you know, I was like, because I wrote down the guards treat them like they're monsters and
Yeah.
actually refer to them as monsters. And then I wrote, oh my God, they are monsters. So I was very surprised. I liked it.
Nothing is scarier than creepy kid
Hmm.
killers. That is to me the all-time most terrifying thing. Whenever they get together and they just look like that little pack of like tiny scary people,
Yeah.
they're almost as bad as killer clowns, in my opinion. I don't like either one of them, but I like the opening a whole lot as well. It was very interesting to see these kids being locked up in the classroom learning because that's one of the interesting things about the second generation of this fungus is that they still have the ability to learn, unlike
Hmm.
a lot of the other zombies that are just kind of they're spaced out, they're just waiting for their next meal, much like the typical zombies that we see in every zombie film, TV
Or
show, book,
teenagers.
or yes, or teenagers as well. These are fast zombies though,
Yeah.
and they're really freaking scary. Whenever Melanie's coming back and she brought that dog with her, because I don't know why she brought the dog with her at first. I thought it was because she thought it was really cute,
Yes.
but then it turned out to work in, everybody's favor
Right.
whenever the dog jumps out of her arms and runs away, because all these other zombies are like, "Oh, snap, dinner's dinner's about to be served."
Hmm.
But whenever they started running away from them, and they were so creepy. That's one of the things I really liked about this film is the visuals. I thought the visuals were great. I thought the zombies looked fantastic. I love this drab post-apocalyptic feel
Hmm.
that the movie had, and I love that scene whenever they go to the shopping center and everything's overgrown in the shopping
Yeah.
mall. And I get where you say The Last of Us, because I feel like The Last of Us video game did such a nice job of seeing, the natural vegetation take
Right.
back over the world like
Hmm.
it would be if no humans
Right.
were around killing everything. So,
Hmm.
which I really liked in this film.
Me too. And there were so many things that reminded me of The Last of Us, like the zombies in particular, because if you've played the game, the zombies they'll stand around doing nothing, but
Hmm.
they twitch a lot, and they twitch in just that very specific way. So I love that. There's a lot of fungus in
Hmm.
The Last of Us. The spores, which at the very end
Yep.
was what ends up killing everybody, is the spores, which was deadly in the Last of Us game. So for me, I would have given this, if it was cheesy all the way through, just the fact that it made me feel like The Last of Us, I probably would have given it high marks.
Yeah, and the relationships to me felt like The Last of Us as well.
Hmm.
Very, very similar, where you've got this one group in The Last of Us that's trying to find the cure, similar to Glenn Close's character in this film, and they're not necessarily bad people, but there comes a point where they have to do bad things to
Right.
to other people in order to find this cure. And that's Glenn Close's character in this film. She doesn't necessarily, I don't think, want to hurt these kids. And I do think that at the end of the movie we see that I think she likes Melanie, but she
Right.
knows that this is the last hope for humanity, much like I said, where this movie kind of turns everything on its head about what we know about the zombie genre, where it's always about us as humans trying to hold on to humanity, trying to hold on to the past, trying to make the past come back to us and be the present, even though in the
Right.
present everything sucks and zombies are trying to eat us. This movie was just, it was so much about seeing it from the perspective of the second generation. I loved it whenever Dr. Caldwell and Melanie were having that conversation towards the end, whenever she's wanting to use Melanie and she almost convinces her. She's like this close to
She was
convincing her.
right there
Yeah.
until Melanie asked her that question.
Yeah.
So you do think I'm alive? Oh, so why is your life more important than mine? And it's an excellent question.
Yeah. It's
Why
a
is our life more important? Well, just because it just is.
it
But
is Melanie.
yes. So there was a struggle at one point between Helen. Dr. Caldwell was trying to convince her that she needed to go ahead and let Melanie be used for scientific purposes
Yeah.
to create the virus. And she thought about it for a minute, I think, too. And that was another thing that made me think so much about the Last of Us video game, because that's kind of where you end
Yeah.
up having to make that decision. What would you do?
Man, it's really tough because I would not want to be put in the position of Helen, because at the end of the movie, she is doing what she was doing at the
Mm.
beginning of the movie. She's teaching the second generation, but she's teaching them from that emergency vehicle station that's a terrible home for the rest of your life, in my
Yes,
opinion. It's great that she's getting interaction with the second generation and everything, and she's
it's
getting
it's not great.
it's
It
it
was not great.
yeah, it's not that great. It's not the same as, human to human interaction. I honestly, I think I'd had to sacrifice Melanie. I'm looking out for a numero uno here,
Yeah,
and I would want humanity to survive.
right.
Obviously, I mean, I do
Yeah.
like other humans on occasion. Some of them are
Mhm.
assholes, but for the most part, I happen to like other humans. So I would have. I think I would have made the choice
Yeah.
to sacrifice Melanie. What about yourself?
It was really hard, but I mean, when you think about it, everyone was going to die.
Yeah.
In except if we could do something with this little girl's blood. So I probably would have had to sacrifice her too. And I don't know if I told you what my bottom line thing was on this whole movie
Yeah.
was the story was about perspective. Who's the monster? It depends on which side of the glass you're on.
Oh
Hmm. Boom,
man.
that's some deep ass shit.
I think I need to put some explosions going off after you said that. I will say I really was upset that we lost Sergeant Parks. I thought it was fitting, I guess, that he would go that way, and I liked the transformation of his character throughout the film because the
Hmm.
beginning of the film he just seems like this hard ass military guy that
Right.
hates Melanie and just wants to eradicate all of the zombies, no matter if they're first or second generation. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter. But as you see his character progress, he actually starts to like Melanie. I really liked their relationship that they had with one another. I thought it was a cute relationship
Yeah.
between the two of them. Whenever she does have to kill him and she cocks the gun back and he's like, "Where did you learn that?" She's like, "I learned it from you." And how much Melanie watched humans
Yes.
interact and do certain things and how much she just wanted to be human. She was probably one of the cutest characters in a terrible, scary film that I've ever seen. I thought
Right.
this kid did an absolute phenomenal job. Sania Nenunya? Nayuya?
Nice. Good job. Good
I'm
job.
sorry, little kid.
See,
I
if you just
butchered your name.
act like you knew it.
Yeah, I'm like Sania Nuya.
Yeah, there you
Boom.
go.
That's
Yes,
her
exactly.
name right there, isn't it? I thought she was phenomenal in this film. Uh, I could totally see us playing this as a video game. And
Yeah,
that was one of the main
definitely.
reasons why I really, really loved this. I loved so many little things about it. The blocker gel, I thought that was really cool,
Yes.
and how they're having to ration this blocker gel, which basically looked like hand sanitizer. There were just so many awesome things about this movie because it kind of like combined lots of different ones. It combined 28 Days Later with The Last of Us, with Warm Bodies almost, because even though it was a comedy,
Yeah.
was gave you perspectives from other angles, from the zombies perspective and
Right.
everything. And World War Z with the fast zombies, they weren't quite as
Yes.
fast as the World War Z ones,
Right.
but more like they were more along the lines of the 28 Days Later zombies, which were
Yeah.
pretty damn fast. But I would say I'm gonna give this movie, because we rate things out of 5 bacons, I'm gonna give it 4.25 bacons out of 5.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you on that. 4.25 bacons is a good solid score for this because there was just a couple of things. It would have been a higher score for me probably without the fight scene, but other than that, I seriously, I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was a lot of good twists to it that I didn't see coming. I liked it. You should watch it, and hopefully you watched it before we told you all about it.
Yeah, hopefully they did watch it before we told them all about it. Definitely go check it out. We want to know your thoughts on The Girl with All the Gifts. Put all those thoughts in the comment box down below. If you have any other discussion that you want us to have out of this movie or any zombie films, feel free to let us know. Hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your day.
Bye bye.